Welcome back into the Bettor half hour. When we're sitting down, you know it's a good one in honor of draft day. Gotta bring on my guy, not only former NFL safety, but co-host of the Betting Exchange, Erik Coleman, to chop it up about the draft. EC, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is my first time on the show.
Let's go. Sitting down, how you feeling?
I feel great.
All right. Well, let's get into your draft day experience. Talk a little bit about your background, how you came to make the NFL, and then just overall the draft experience for you the day you got your name called.
Oh man, those were exciting times. You know, back in those times, I was considered like a mid to late round draft pick. So, going through the process, it was a tough one. I just wanted to improve. I wanted to get my 40 time down. Did the combine, did the pro day, all that went well. And when it came time for the draft, we had the draft back then in 2004. Rounds 1 through 3 were on Saturday. Rounds 4 through 7 were on Sunday. And I didn't really expect to get drafted on the first day, so I wasn't paying attention. I was just kind of hanging out. But Sunday, my mom throws this big barbecue at the house, whole bunch of family over, and I wanted nothing to do with it. And so I went to my grandmother's house where no one was there, and I was like, I'm going to watch it here, and this is where it's going to happen. And I'm watching the draft. It was on like ESPN or something like that, and round 4 ended. After round 4, it went to ESPN2. And she didn't have ESPN2.
No.
So I was flying blind for like 3 hours. And I was just sitting there like, I was going through all my emotions. I was like, man, am I going to get picked? It was really, emotional. And then finally I got a call. It was a 516 number. And they asked me, do you want to be a New York Jet? And I was like, heck yeah, I want to be a Jet. I'd never been to New York, but I would love to come out there. And that's when my journey began. Best day of my life.
I love it. So awesome. What's the biggest thing you noticed from the college athletic experience to becoming a pro?
Becoming a pro, everything is a business. There's a lot of people's livelihoods that are depending on you performing. And, one of the first messages I received when I got to the NFL, my coach wrote on the board, KADYJ, and it was know and do your job. That's all that we're asking you to do. Just know and do your job. And, you really saw the business. There were guys in the locker room that had kids and they had like chest hair and beards. And I'm like 21 years old. So, I really had to make sure that I was on my job. I was studying my playbook. And, and it was another tough thing was managing all the time. Because now I don't have class anymore. Now I'm just focused on football. And it was a big change for me.
Looking at this year's draft, kind of a unique beginning, not a ton of highly touted quarterbacks. So what do you think the Jaguars are going to do at the 1 slot? What would you do if you were in charge?
Looking at the draft, looking at all the players, I still like, Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. Yeah, I think he's a real difference maker. He's one of those guys that he has a great motor. He's going to go hard every down. And he's one of those people that's going to come into your organization and change the culture of your defense. He's a player that is going to demand a lot from his teammates. He's going to give his full effort. And I think that players like that are who you should build franchises on. And he's not the flashy pick, but I think he's a solid number 1.
Let's talk about these quarterbacks. We got Willis out of Liberty. We got Kenny Pickett. Rumors he's going to stay in Pittsburgh, go to the Steelers, even Corral. What are your thoughts on these quarterbacks? Who do you think of those 3 have the best chance to be a solid pro?
Well, all 3 of them have a big opportunity. When you look at Corral or Pickett, these guys can fit into an NFL offense. They can deliver the ball. The game is spread out now. There's a lot of things that you can do. But when you talk about Willis, he's got all the intangibles. He's got the big arm. He's athletic. I think a couple years of learning the NFL, learning how the defenses work, he can be a special talent.
Is there a position or any particular positions that you think are deep in this draft class?
Yeah, looking at the wide receivers, I think there's a lot of depth at that wide receiver position. You have Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, Chris Olave from Ohio State, Jamison Williams from Alabama, Drake London from USC. There's a lot of talent. There's some special players that are going to get selected. Not everyone's going to get picked in the first round. There's going to be some picks in that second round that are going to help a team and become all pros.